Hi there, it's Chloe from the Riverscapes Assessment and Monitoring Laboratory. In this video, I'm going to be going over some basics for symbology in QGIS. We'll go through a graduated example and a categorical example, and then there will be another video for rule-based symbology. So let's start with our graduated example. This is the layer that we're going to be referencing, dam capacity. So you can see that this is a range of numbers. To get to the symbology pane, you'll double click on your layer, it'll pull up layer properties, and you may have to switch to the symbology tab. So here we just have single symbol, so I'm going to use this drop down to switch it to graduated. And then the next step is to choose which field is going to be symbolized. And for dam capacity, existing dam capacity, it's this OCC_EX. And then there's kind of two options. You could do top level symbol editing here, or you can add in your classes and then do top level symbol editing or edit the symbols individually. So I'm going to show you, I'll add in the classes and then we'll do some top level editing so you can see that it affects all classes. So there's 7. Okay. I'm just going to adjust point size to 1.2 millimeters. And then I'm also going to remove the outline. So right now we're just in marker, but if I want to access more options for editing symbology, click down one and you can see there's a lot more options here. So stroke style, this is the outline. I'm going to say no line. And you can see it removed the line. We now have a smaller point. I'm going to click OK. And you can see it affected all of the symbols we've added. Next step will be to update these values. Our first class here is 0 dams, so that doesn't need to be changed. The next one is 0 to 3 dams. So I'm just going to double click on these values and then type in 3 for that upper value. Sorry, I got interrupted. Don't exactly remember what I was saying, but we were in the middle of editing these values. You can see that I entered a 3 for the upper value here, and it automatically populated the 3 as the lower value for the next class. So that's pretty nice. It saves you some time. So I'm going to go in and hit this one. And instead of hitting OK, you can also hit Enter. Just makes things a little bit quicker. So I'm going to go through and finish editing all of these values. Okay, I've made it to this last class. Now, we don't want to set an upper value for this class, or I guess you have to set an upper value, but I'm going to set something that's arbitrarily large to make sure that we capture all options. So I'm going to give it something like 10 million. Okay, our next step is to edit these legend values. So that's what will appear in the legend like it does here. Again, you just have to double click and type what you'd like it to be. And hit enter when you're done typing. So I'm also going to go through and update all of these. Okay, I have all of my legend values entered. I'm going to hit apply so we can see them reflected in our layers pane. Now it's time to update the colors. So to edit a symbol, just an individual symbol, you'll double click on it to pull up this symbol selector pane. Now the first class is white, so that's pretty easy to select. That's just one of the standard colors. And actually, let's apply that and get out of here and check. This symbol has transparency? Never mind, it doesn't. Okay. So instead of guessing what shade of orange this is, I'm going to open up the symbol selector here and then click this drop down, choose color. And right here, it shows me the HTML value for this color. So I'm gonna copy this And I guess I've spoiled this a little bit. You are also able to edit the symbols by clicking them in the layers pane. That can save some time instead of having to hop between properties panes. So I'm going to double click this symbol. Also, a quicker way to get into the color properties, instead of hitting choose color here, you can just click the color rectangle. I'm going to paste this color, and we should be able to see that reflected. Let me turn on this layer actually. So you can see we have some orange in there. Using this same, I could use this same method to copy colors from this other layer, but another useful tool is if I select this yellow color and hit the drop down, I can copy the color and then I can paste it like that. And even another trick, I guess, is I can right click on the symbol and click copy symbol and then paste the symbol. So this only works within the same geometry type, so I can only paste point symbols onto other point symbols. I couldn't say copy a line symbol and paste it onto a point symbol. That wouldn't work. So hopefully that was enough for you to get an idea of how graduated symbology is created in Q. So I'm going to move on to the categorical example. So here, let's turn this off. We have categorized symbology for this layer. So I'm going to show you how to create that. This is just a copy of that layer, but with single symbol symbology. So I'm going to switch this to categorized. And then the value that we are going to be displaying is the dam setting. It's all the way at the bottom. And just like before, I'm going to use this plus button to add classes. So there's 4. And then double click in this value section to type in each of the classes. You have to be careful here. It is case sensitive, so make sure that you're being accurate so that your symbology works. If you mistype something or don't capitalize something that should be, then the QGIS won't pick it up and won't recognize that that's what you're trying to symbolize. So I'm going to apply this symbology and just show you guys in the attribute table. So here's dam setting. I can see that it's capitalized. If I was really worried about getting something correct, I could right click and copy the cell content and then go back into my properties pane and paste. And in this case, the values are going to match up with the legend, so I'm also going to paste it here. And hit apply, you can see it reflected here. So I'm going to go through and copy over the text for the rest of these classes. Something to note here is that this last category, no capacity, is actually a catch-all category, and so just leaving it blank will have it select all other values and display it with that symbol. Editing symbols is the same as it is with points. You just double click on the symbol, you can choose color here, or you can go further in and get stroke width, stroke style if you want to make it dashed. There's lots of options here in this panel. So I'm just going to be lazy and copy these symbols over. Obviously, if you didn't have a layer to work off of, then you wouldn't be able to do this. But if you're making symbology for multiple projects, yes, the same symbology across multiple projects, this is a quick way to get things done. And That should be it. Okay, just a little bit more. Let's edit something. I'll just call this flood. If I were to exit out of this pane without saving my changes, then it's not going to be reflected. So I would need to, if I wanted this to be flood, I would have to either hit apply, then you can see it worked, or hitting OK will close the pane for you. So that's important to remember. I think that QGIS will throw a warning if you make an edit. Oh wow, it doesn't give you a warning. So be careful if you're creating symbology, if you're putting a lot of work in here, that you definitely need to hit apply or OK and not close the pane because your edits won't be saved. Other than that, that should be it for symbology basics in QGIS. Hopefully, this is a helpful introduction, and there will be another video going over rule-based symbology, which is a little bit more complicated.